Hey guys, James here. I'm doing a video for David's Aquariums contest. You're looking at the 75-gallon reef. I'm just going to go over all the equipment that I have, why I have it, and what makes it work. Alright, I guess we'll start with the lighting. The metal halide lighting up here is new to me, but after much discussion versus the LEDs and whatnot, LEDs are just way too much money at the moment. So I had gone ahead and switched from T5s to the halides, which was mainly thanks to David from David's Aquariums, which I really do appreciate. I mean, he knows what he's talking about, so I went with it. These you're looking at 250 watt bulbs. They're 14K Phoenix hex arc bulbs. Got two of those. Then you got the two actinic bulbs, or I should say four actually. It's two individual lamp things over here. So you've got a total of four 54 watt actinic bulbs. Them are 460 nanometers each. And then you've got the moonlights as well. And the benefit of this particular fixture, as far as having the halides, is mainly because of the SPS coral. They demand a high amount of light, and basically the halide replicates what the sun normally does. So, and especially like the clam here, it demands like a ton of light. So that's basically what actually grows your corals. It's kind of like sun does for the plants. Everything is based on photosynthesis, which a lot of coral actually use to do their thing. I mean, yeah, you feed them as well, but the main thing is the photosynthesis is what takes place, and that's what helps create the growth of the coral. Next up is the two power heads. I've got the WP40 over here, and I've got the Coralia 550 over here, which I really don't need. As you can see, my sand is getting blown enough around as it is, but I have it just to help stir things up a little bit. The reason you want this is because you want water flow inside a reef aquarium, mainly because your live rock is technically your filter of your system. Sure, you've got your skimmers that help pull out detritus and protein and what have you, but it's the live rock, everything inside the live rock regarding all the microorganisms and what have you. That's what actually is filtering your system, and also your live sand. A lot of people might wonder what the live sand is, what live rock is. It's basically just beneficial bacteria that's growing inside the actual rocks, living down in the sand. If you end up with dry rock, of course you're not going to have life inside the sand or the rock, so it's just called dead rock. Same with the sand. But if you go with live sand, it's going to have life in it. And the only way to get live rock that has life in it is if you go with cured rock, which that's what I did. I went with cured rock due to the simple fact that I didn't want to have to go through a major cycling process and all that. And basically it was just transferring from one tank to another due to the fact that all the rock had life in it. And the same went with the sand. It had millions of live organic bacteria living in it. So that's why I had gone with the actual live sand, which is a Carib Sea Fiji Pink. Alright, next you got a frag rack. Frag racks are very important because this way you're able to acclimate your coral, starting down at the sand, and then from there you just slowly raise them up. That's why frag racks have the magnets on them. And I mean, a lot of DIYers also use the mag floats and whatnot, use the plexiglass and drilling out holes and what have you. But this way you're able to actually raise the coral slowly up towards the light, or lower it if you need to, if you see signs of stress and what have you. So that's why I have a frag rack in here. I happened to buy this one at the last year's swap meet for Manhattan Reefs, so didn't make this one. Everybody must be wondering what this ugly tube is that's always in here. That's in case I want to run charcoal, or carbon rather. I just drop a regular bio bag in here. It's a Whisper 40. So whenever I want to run carbon, I just drop it in here, turn it on, and then I can run carbon with the black diamond carbon. So that's why you see the ugly filter up here. Probably eventually put it down inside my sump, but that's what it is for now. My drainage system to the sump. You've got your return and you've got your overflow. My overflow is the eShop 300. I've got an oversized U-tube in here. Normally it's a 1-inch U-tube. I put in 1.25 U-tube for a faster drain. I like them due to the simple fact that you don't have to worry about drilling your tank. It's black. It just sits out of the corner, so it looks just fine, and it does what it has to do. As long as your return line is drilled properly where it's supposed to be, you'll never have an issue with losing water, too much water down into your sump. And you also don't lose a siphon break over on this side, as long as there's no cracks or anything in the U-tube, or somebody doesn't come along and actually pull this out of the first chamber and the second chamber. The way that works, you just basically stick an air line inside here, you bring it out, and what you do is you make sure both ends are inside the water. You suck on the air line, and it's going to draw water up both sides until it gets up here. And what you're doing is siphoning, sucking all the water or the air out of there. And then once you turn on your pump, this creates an actual siphon. And then once that happens, that's it. It starts the siphoning. As soon as you shut off your pumps, due to the fact that both ends are inside the water, you don't lose a siphon break. So that's the one cool thing about the eShop Overflow. I love it. I have nothing bad to say about it at all. I've got glass covers over the top of my tank. It's just helping with evaporation and also dust. A lot of people don't do that. They go with screen tops and what have you. But I chose to go ahead and go with the glass tops. It's just a matter of keeping them clean so that these guys do their job through the water. And with the Wave Maker, you've also got the controller over there, which has a total of 3 different wave settings, and it's got a random setting, and then it's got a high and low straight flow. And I don't have the night sensor in there. Mine seems to run backwards, but I don't care. I don't need it. Down here, I've got my RO-DI system. It's a 6-stage unit. Got it on eBay for a really great deal from Filter Direct. They're happening to sell the Water General brand. This is the RD102. Produces 125 gallons of RO-DI water in approximately 8 hours. It's a 6-stage. It's got a sediment filter, 2 carbon blocks. Then you've got your main membrane up here, which is the RO. And then you've got your 2 DI chambers. And then I've also got a TDS meter. I haven't hooked it up lately, but the way the TDS meter is, it works. You put it in, you click it, it shows you exactly what your in is, and then it shows you exactly what your out will be. That's what you want. You want 0 TDS. Alright? So that's that. It's also got a pressure gauge on it. It keeps track of my pressure. I currently have it shut off. This has got an auto stop on it, which it's got its own drain lane. It goes straight to the drain for the wastewater. and then the rest of it goes to the ATO. And then that brings me to the next thing, which is my RODI water storage. I have to mark things because I've got an in-law that tends to think everything's for trash. So, as you can see, not for trash. Whenever I need RODI water, I've got this thing hooked straight up. Right there, that black line. And then I've just got a valve drilled straight into the top of my lid. And whenever I need it, I just flip it on and I start filling it up. Which, as you can see, it's full of water, about a little under half. I keep a heater inside here. You see it's currently on to maintain a 78-degree temperature at all times. Always keep a lid on top of your RODI unit or storage, because you either evaporate or you get dust contamination down inside your unit here. So make sure you put a lid on top of your RODI system. These are the two ballasts that belong to the halide unit that I've got hanging up. This is the timer that I have currently. I haven't set it up just yet, but it does in fact run the lighting when I had needed it and whatnot. So once I get it all set up and timed in, I'm going to be using it for that. And then also I've got one more that I'm going to be using for some auto dosers. Once I get that thing figured out, that'll be going up here next to this one. Alright, from there I'm going to go down. Oh, another thing, it's very important. Make sure everything you're using is GFCI no matter what. When you're around water, you got to make sure everything is GFCI. As you can see, if you get GFCI, doesn't matter that this isn't a GFCI unit. It matters that it's protected right there. Anything happens, it goes out. That brings me to that. That's the actual surge protector. Always make sure that you've got something that does indeed protect and ground. See how it says protected with the red light there? That means this unit is fully grounded so that you're not going to have any kind of problems, any kind of fires, and what have you. Whenever you connect a GFCI outlet, make sure that you ground the wires. There's a lot of lazy electricians out there. They just flip that wire up out of the way. They don't ground it properly, and a lot of times this thing will not drop when you need it to. And believe me, I've had mine do that several times with spilling water, and it works perfect. It goes right out. As far as my return pump, I've got a Mag 7 return pump down inside here. I don't know how well you can see it. It's right there, the gray unit. That's actually plugged in up here. It's adapted to a extension cord, which happens to have a little switch on it right here. That shuts my pump off and on. That's all I have to do is just reach this, flip it off. I don't have to worry about unplugging nothing. That's just it, man. It's plugged into the cord, and the cord's plugged into the outlet. I've got my GFO reactor. It's made by Via Aqua. As you can see, it's running. That helps remove the phosphates in the water. And that's pretty much all I got to say about that. This is actually a dual reactor. You can actually run carbon in the top if you want. But GFO is its own form of carbon as it is. But I had got this with recommendations from Andrew and David and a few other people when I was having allergy issues back in the days. So I still got it. My auto top off, it comes out of the RODI unit. I made my own DIY bracket. It uses two suction cups, top and bottom. It's a regular float valve, and that's the auto top off for you. And when the water drops, the valve kicks on, raises, and shuts off. And that's the auto top off. Always have an auto top off system in your tanks, guys. It makes doing things so much easier. In this chamber, I keep my Cheeto, and I also keep my heaters down inside here. Don't mind the glass. We've got a lot of coralline. going on inside here. Temperature gauge. I always run my temperature at 78. Filter sock is a must on your aquarium. I wasn't using one at first, but the particulate that this stuff is pulling out is amazing. I'm changing my filter socks every 2 to 3 days. I don't even feed my tank very hard, but I'm still changing my filter socks just because they get brown. That's the drain line that comes from the upper tank. That's for the eShop 300. Over here we've got the new skimmer, which happens to be the Terminator 2. This just happens to be a really awesome skimmer. Without a skimmer, you're not gonna get this stuff out of the water. You see all that gook in there? That's why you want a skimmer. It just, without it, you're just wasting your time. That pulls all the proteins out of the water, all the detritus, anything you don't see, this actually does it. And the way it works is you got the feed pump down here, which is a MaxiJet 1200. It feeds the water up through, brings it into the chamber, and then it also brings it down through here into the main pump. From there, it blasts the water down through the Venturi. Let's see if you can see the Venturi working there. Shoots the water through it, down inside, and then stirs up millions of microbubbles. Microbubbles float to the top, and that's how you get your skim at the top. If anybody wants to question what color of skim my skimmer's got, there you go, guys. It is rolling the dark skim. From there, I've got the drain that comes right out of the top. This isn't the cup on here, guys. This is the solid top where the drain, it comes out, goes down, out through the side, and into my bucket, which is collecting all my nice yummy stuff at the moment until I get it plumbed in, which is going to be the next thing, hard plumbing. I only run a small light down here for my Kato, nothing special. It's just a regular 15 watt T8, no biggie. And I think that pretty much covers everything that's on this reef tank. Let me just look around real quick, make sure. Oh, one last feature about the Wave Maker. With the WP40, if you don't want it to run full blast, you got to get one of these. It's a voltage regulator. I'm currently not having to lower it, but just in case I want to, you can drop it down to whatever voltage you want, and it'll run it perfectly. It's made to run at any level you want. It's comparable to the MP40 when it comes to the way you're able to do things with voltage and whatnot. So let me just double check and make sure that's everything. I believe that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it wasn't crazy long. Thanks again, David, for extending the contest, giving some of us a chance to catch up since we've been really busy and doing a ton of other things. Alright guys, again, appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.